Is this episode about philosophy because I say it is, or do I say it is because it's about philosophy? This week we're going through another famous philosophical text, and this week it's the Euthyphro by Plato. Plato wrote a lot of his philosophy in the form of dialogues, that is, conversations between two people. That makes them quite natural and easy to follow, so if you were looking to take the next step in your philosophy adventure and read some original philosophy, Plato would be a good place to start. The dialogues often feature Plato's teacher Socrates, and they were written around about 2,500 years ago, making them the oldest fan fiction in the world. The Euthyphro attempts to define what piety, or justice before the gods, is, and it leads to a dilemma for anyone who thinks that morality comes from God. The action starts outside the court in Athens, and in true Platonic style, that is where we join the action. Ah, if it isn't Euthyphro, the expert on religion.
Good morning, Socrates.
What are you doing outside the court?
I'm here to charge someone with murder.
Whom are you charging?
My father. He's murdered one of my slaves, most unjustly.
My goodness, aren't you worried that people will call you impious before the gods for turning against your own father?
So I already have, my friend, but they do not know what true piety is, whereas I, an expert on religion, know what it means to be holy.
Is that so? Then could you define piety for me?
Certainly, Socrates. Piety is what I'm doing right now, prosecuting the wicked, standing up for justice no matter who the defendant is.
Ah, but Euthyphro, that is an example of a pious act. I asked you to define piety for me, not to give examples.
Ah, yes, well, piety is what the gods love, and impiety is what the gods hate.
Very well then. But tell me, my friend, is something pious because the gods love it? Or do they love it because it is pious?
The second. They love certain things because they are pious.
Ah, but Euthyphro, if they love certain things because they are pious, then their loving of them is merely incidental. You have not told me what the pious is in itself.
Yes. Forgive me, Socrates. What I meant to say was the other one. The pious is made pious because the gods love it.
What a strange state of affairs. Tell me, Euthyphro, is justice pious?
Yes, Socrates. Of course justice is pious. That's why I'm prosecuting my father in the name of justice.
But if justice is pious because the gods love it, then suppose that tomorrow the gods change their mind and love injustice. Injustice would then become a good thing. Are you saying, my friend, that justice is so flimsy that it can be overturned by the mere whim of the gods?
No, not at all. That would be horrible. There must be more to justice than that.
I would agree. So then, my friend, since we are caught in this dilemma, we must start again. Since you are such an expert on religion, can you define for me what piety is?
I would, Socrates, but I've gotta go. I'll have to tell you about it another time.
The dialogue goes on in more detail, and I've adapted it slightly, but that's basically the gist of what's called the Euthyphro Dilemma. If morality comes from God, like Ten Commandments style, then does God tell us to do what is good because it's good, or is it good because God tells us to do it? If God tells us to do it because it is good, then God can't change the laws of right and wrong, which might count against omnipotence. And if it's good cause God tells you to do it, then God could tell you to burn someone's house down and that would make it good, which is kind of unbelievable. So there's the Euthyphro. What do you guys think? How would you respond to the dilemma? Is morality flexible enough to accommodate a deeply religious account of its source? Let me know what you think in the comments. You can also tell me whether you'd like the next episode to be about selfishness or international oil economics. This episode guest starred my very good friend Mr. Sam Moore. Thank you to you, Sam, from me and all the Philosophans.
And the Oscar goes to...
Subscribe, tell your friends about PhilosophyTube, and leave a like if you enjoyed my bedsheet toga. Charity may begin at home, but philosophy begins in YouTube comments. Let's see what you guys had to say about choosing a charity. Thomas Fisher 12, Athavan Rajagasam, and Chris Hartman all said that we should maybe give to charities who are more effective than others, because some spend more than others on advertising and paying CEOs and so on. That's a good way to narrow down a list of charities, but at some point you're going to reach a list of charities who are all equally effective, and then how will you choose between them? Mars Greek God also pointed out that it's very difficult to determine exactly how much good a charity does. I imagine that problem is particularly prevalent if you're comparing two charities with very different aims, like, say, Amnesty International versus Dogs Trust. Bill Niblock took me as saying that by not giving to one charity, you harm them. I wasn't trying to imply that. I agree with you. It's not harming, it's just not helping. But not doing something still counts as making a choice. You're allowing other people to suffer. I just wondered if people needed some kind of ethical backup for that. Nerdy Nerdy Nerd Nerd said that you cannot do anything immoral by giving to charity. I don't really want to come down on either side of that because I'm not really sure, but what if giving to charity made somebody else dependent on handouts and unable to work for themselves? That would be a bad consequence of your giving to charity. I'm not saying I definitely agree with that, but I'm just saying there are consequentialists who would disagree with you. VMLM3, I'm not trying to rationalise anyone either way, I'm just asking the questions. That's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!